Yo, what to do, YouTube? It's your boy Smooth coming at you with another smooth YouTube video. So, part two, LR Gogeta is out in game, out for everybody to enjoy. For those that pulled him, he has not been out for a full 24 hours, but I think it's probably about time to figure out which one of these and the 10th anniversary LRs is number one. This might be a very loaded question. Everybody already has their opinions. I've already had people tell me that Vegito is number one. I've already heard Truth say that Vegito is number one. If we're going to keep it a buck, both of them, both units might actually be equally number one. But overall, I think it's going to come into the equation here. So before we get into the content, make sure you like the video, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Let's get into it. I'm going to break this down from leader skill, first turn, extra skills, and then the final skills. So right off the bat, when it comes to tech, well, I'm gonna say tech Super Saiyan Goku. Tech Super Saiyan Goku slash Vegito easily gets the best leader skill by far. Earth protecting heroes and earthbred fighters, this alone breaks the game without a question. So Fuse Fighters and Patara, and then Pure Saiyans with Earthbred Fighters and Patara. This is literally Goku and a little bit of Vegeta. Well, mainly Fuse Fighters and Patara, but Pure Saiyans, Earthbred Fighter, which is Goku, Earth Protecting Heroes and Earthbred Fighters, Earth Protecting Heroes and Patara. So this leader skill overall is the best because Earth Protecting Heroes is ridiculously broken. Now on the Gogeta side, we have Successors, Fuse Fighters, Pure Saiyans, and then Gifted Warriors Fusion. If we're gonna keep this a buck, and I mean all the way a buck, Vegeta's leader skill is literally just Vegeta. Now, before I say that, commit to it and make sure that Broly is not on this category, and I do not think he is. But just Vegeta, Piccolos, Goku Blacks, yeah. So it's always going to be just Vegeta is the main focus of this particular leader skill. So it's literally just Vegeta, Fuse Fighters, and Fusion, Pure Saiyans, Get the Warriors. All of this is literally Vegeta. Now, before we get off of this can change in a heartbeat because Fuse Fighters Fusion has the potential to undoubtedly break the game in part 3 when the LR Gods and the LR Super Saiyan 4's Easy A. We still have Int Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, who has not Easy A'd yet. And there's still a couple of other fusion characters that are Fuse Fighters Fusion that have not Easy A'd or Super Easy A'd. And keep in mind, if a third LR anniversary characters do Easy A, that's going to open up this to an entirely different level. So, turn one, this easily goes to Vegeta because Goku, regardless of him having like almost 90% damage reduction and all the other jazz, he gets blasted more than the Kendrick album. Like, I don't know. Like, he's very much slot 2 until Vegeta comes and pretty much protects him and takes over slot 1. Versus this Vegeta, who gets defense plus 300% and he gets guard. He guards all attacks with 300% defense out the gate for 3 turns. And then guess what? He also already has attack and defense 200% with key plus 5. And he's supporting fusion. So that already is broken enough. But look at this, 500% defense, guards all attacks. Then when he attacks, he gets an extra defense plus 100%. So that's 600% defense with guard. And then second and third attack on a turn, guards all attacks, chance to launch an additional super attack, then he meets up with Goku, right? So now let's scroll down here and let's equally, let me pull up Vegeta and let me pull up Goku. All right. Part 2 of this, right? Vegeta has damage reduction and he stacks defense. So I find greatly stacks defense on the 18 key, and then he just raises defense on the 12 key. I love this Vegeta. I do. I love him so much. I cannot wait for him to come take over a fight. This guy is so good in the clutch, bro. I cannot tell you how many times Vegeta has saved me, and I can like realistically put him in slot 1 and know he's not gonna die. I've also, since he's been released, you can go check my videos that I've used Tech Vegito in. I've also opted in for using Vegeta's Break the Batara earrings just so he can tank the rest of the fight. I've done that for a good while. Right here, keep us 3 attack and defense plus 18% for the rest of the fight, and then he guards all attacks for the rest of the fight. So extra defense plus him stacking doesn't really take too much to see what's going on there. Now, currently, this is probably a bug, but his attacking pattern is broken because he just relentlessly attacks. I've seen it on Twitter. I do not have Gogeta, so this is a part where I kind of low key. I don't want to talk too much about this particular character because I can only go off of what's written, and I don't see how they act and perform in game. So for what I've seen, Goku attacks like crazy, and I think it's a bug, but his Super Saiyan 3 attacks are like crazy busted. But again, just going off of what we see here, this Goku is also busted. Like, he also stacks defense. Like, that's the thing about the 2 LRs and base before the fusion comes. They basically do the exact same thing. But when you use Goku's active skill, Veku comes out, he has a free Ghost Usher. If you don't know how good that is for free, look for PyCon. PyCon is another unit that has a guaranteed Ghost Usher. Fat Int Boo has a guaranteed Ghost Usher if he revives or if you wait long enough in a turn. I can't remember off the bat, but he has a Ghost Usher built in. Veku not only gives you a guaranteed Ghost Usher for 1 turn, chat, he also guaranteed dodges for 3 turns, bro, if you don't want to use Gogeta. That is so insane. It's ridiculous. Now, I think he probably does defuse. He'll either defuse back, right? He either defuse back into Veku or he'll just stay Veku. I'm not too sure about that. Like I said, I don't have the unit, so I can't really tell you. Oh, and by the way, they link up with 6 links, so that's very good. But also, like, this is mechanically, this is broken, right? So now let's get to the big boys at the very end, right? Let me pull up. Where is? Oh, yeah, I have to go back to Goku to pull up Vegito. Yes, okay. I guess that's just an active skill for Goku as well. So let's go back to Vegeta so we can pull up Gogeta, who in his kit says he's the best fusion overall, and I would never debate that. So now we have the 2 big boys right here. Who's better? Is a loaded question because they both. I love the fact that Vegito and Gogeta both do very different tasks. I love it. I love it so much. Obviously, I'm on Gogeta's side at all times, but this is the first time that Dokkan went out of their way to make sure that both fusions are equally good and they work together. In theory, if you ask me how to use both of these LRs, I would say you will pop Gogeta's active skill first, and then you will pop Vegito's active skill. Doesn't really matter which one you pop first, but if you pop them together, the strat is Gogeta, after you pop his, scroll way down. Are you serious? Where is it? I messed up my train of thought. Massive. Boom. Okay, add the skill. He causes ultimate damage to the enemy, so he hits the enemy. All allies get attack and defense 54%, and attacks are effective against all types for 1 turn. And he changes AGL key spheres to rainbow. Right there, we have 1 character in the game that does need rainbow key spheres, and that's a super easy A of Gogeta from the 1st anniversary. So when you want to run full fusions, keep that in mind. But you're given the entire rotation rainbow key spheres if there's a bunch of AGL key spheres out there, right? Vegito, his active skill, we already know because we've been using it for about, almost 2 weeks. It causes ultimate damage to the enemy, defense plus 300%, and he directs enemies' attack towards the character, and all attacks become critical hits for 1 turn. So, tack on Gogeta's 54% defense he gets to Vegito, and he gives Vegito attacks effective against all types. Now, I will say this is probably the most unuseful thing for Vegito, since he technically, he does crits anyway. So I don't know if this stacks up on each other. I don't think it does. But this is the first time we've had this before. I'm just going to say pop the Soul Punch and then pop the Spirit Sword and let Vegito cook. It's basically what I'm looking at. So the way Omatu and his team explained it, Gogeta is self-reliant and self-sufficient. He doesn't need any help. And Vegito really doesn't need any help either. But I'm not gonna lie, chat. I did forget the fact that Vegito does get 300% defense when he does his active skill. So in theory, Vegito has 300 here, damage reduction here. That's it. So he has basically 600% defense with 60% damage reduction. And he's countering, and the counters Vegito does is the best thing about Vegito. Those counters are crazy. Like if he attacks first and he gets his counters up, ridiculous. Gogeta. Now Gogeta to me, chat, because he does create rainbow key spheres. Gogeta is just ridiculous. I just think Gogeta's far and away better than Vegito. Yes, Vegito has a target all mechanic, yada yada yada. Yes, but Gogeta has the killer in him. Like, he receives an additional key plus 4 plus rainbow key spheres. This is so unimportant, it doesn't even matter. Guards all attacks. Damage reduction is 60%. Chat, he is the only character in the game, to my knowledge. I think there's might be like one other unit in the game that has this. Chat, you cannot do anything to Gogeta. You cannot debuff him. You cannot lock him. You cannot seal him. You can't do anything to Gogeta. That alone tells you he's number 1. That's just me. He's number 1. He launches 2 additional ultra super attacks. Vegito only does 1. He does 2. So that's 3 times that he does his ultra super. And guess what? Massively raises attack and defense for 1 turn. He does this 3 times. 3 times. He performs a critical hit, guaranteed. Vegito does not do critical hits until he pops his active skill. And he counters. Gogeta has this when he attacks, period. No gimmicks. When attacking, he gets 100% attack. When he receives attacks, he gets 100% defense. Favorite rainbow key sphere, he gets chat. This is where Gogeta is just, it's not even close to me. 50% attack for every rainbow key sphere obtained, and then extra damage reduction. Vegito cannot get extra damage reduction. He can't. It's not in his kit to get that at all. Gogeta can go beyond 60% damage reduction. And for 4 turns, they both have the same thing. I do love that they both have the same thing. So imagine just letting Gogeta do his thing first, and then letting Vegito come behind him. Either way, you can see the super. I'm putting Gogeta probably in front of the super more than I'm putting Vegito in the slot. So, long drawn out answer. Personally, I'm giving the edge to the Gogeta card because they have more tech, more skills in their kit. But Vegito, it's not that big of a gap. It honestly, it's going to be like whatever you prefer, but this is literally the best breakdown anybody on YouTube can give you. And I'm keeping it as unbiased as I can. Like if you look at this side by side, clearly Gogeta is better. But at the same time, Vegito, like they both do different things, right? And it's gone, and you're supposed to use both characters together, right, chat? That's what Dokkan wants you to do. They want you to get both units, and they want you to pop both transformations and use Vegito and Gogeta together. That's what they want you to do. The kits are pretty much built upon that. That's basically it. And Gogeta has Ki +5 and Vegito does not. But I don't think Vegito doesn't really struggle for like Ki, so I don't think that's really important either. So this is the best example anybody can give you for who's better. The quick answer, we can just say both of them are like equally number one, since they both literally do two totally different things. But if you had a gun to my head, I'm picking Gogeta. Goku coming out there doing all the attacks that he does, and then he himself has the Veku built-in mechanic of a Ghost Usher and 3 guaranteed dodges a turn. I think it says for 3 turns, so I don't know if it's Veku's 3 turns or if it's 3 turns. Either way, it's guaranteed dodges, right? And then Gogeta is busted. On the Vegito side, Vegeta just gets, extra 18% and he guards all attacks and gets 3 Ki. I mean, it's whatever you want to pick. Both of them are equal to me. Like I said, gun to my head, Gogeta is the better character to me overall. So I would love to hear you guys' thoughts peacefully in the comment section, because I've already had discussions in my chat early when I was streaming today about Vegito being better than Gogeta. And I'm just like, bro, I don't know what you're saying, but I mean, in the long run, I don't care who's number one out of these two, but it's Gogeta.